would everybody?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for your time and your energy. I greatly appreciate you all spending some of your quarantine with us here at Launch GSU. Thank you for joining us today. I hope everyone is safe and warm on this pretty nasty day in Atlanta, but we don't let the weather dictate the type of day that we're having. You are in control of your own destiny as entrepreneurs, and it's up to you to create the sunshine when there isn't any outside. And we have lots of sunshine for you today. Before we get started, just want to share a couple of things that are happening. I posted this in the launch newsletter and just wanted to share with all of you here today. There have been this young lady, Miss Kashi Segal, has been doing supernova commencements, and every week she's interviewed a high profile person on Facebook Live. And tomorrow she's doing former mayor of Atlanta, Kasim Reed. And next week she has Ambassador Andrew Young. And I've received a lot of great feedback about these events and just wanted to share this with you in the event that you are interested in tuning in. So definitely check that out. It's also in the launch newsletter. And I mentioned last week, by the time we have our final session next week, we will be in the beginning of our launch membership campaign where we are accepting a new group of entrepreneurs for Launch GSU. Now, I recognize that the space is not physically open, but the beautiful part is if you go ahead and take care of your application now, once the campus opens back up, we'll have your cards ready and you'll be able to come take advantage of launch. So if you are interested in using the space once the campus reopens, please go ahead and fill out the application. It will be located on the homepage of the website. You won't be able to miss it. And of course, if you have any challenges, feel free to email myself, Nicole, or Prey will be happy to get you guys taken care of. So again, we appreciate you joining us for session 3 of 4, our Maymester series, Taking Your Business Online, featuring Miss Deetra Giles. Again, I have introduced you to her over the past couple of weeks. Many of you that have been with us before know that she is an incrazing, I just made up a new word, incredible and amazing entrepreneur here in Atlanta. Her formal One of her formal titles is a company culture engineer. As you see here, she's an adjunct faculty, recently won Educator of the Year, two-time TEDx speaker, which you can see both of her TEDx's on her website. Incredible power woman to watch. You guys should feel honored, really, that she was able to present this for us. I'm thrilled that she's been able to do this. This is the first time that she's been able to spend so much time with us here at launch. So thanks, Corona. We don't appreciate you making everybody sick, but I'm glad that this allowed us a chance for Deetra to share some of her genius with the members at Launch GSU. Um, for additional information, please visit her website, deetragiles.org. Um, for those of you, I know Adrian, this is your first time joining us. Want to let you know that we record this session and the previous sessions. Both of them are online now. Here's the link for part 1 and part 2. Once Mrs. Giles starts, I'll go ahead and put these links in the chat for you so that you can go back and take a look at them at your convenience, but wanted to make sure that you are aware that both of those links are online. All right. Today is part 3 of 4. Again, this is a 4-part series, Taking Your Business Online. Georgia is about to start, or Georgia has started opening up. But what we do know is that the old way of doing business is probably changed forever. Those who are going to survive going forward are going to have to be nimble. You have to be flexible and really rethink everything about your business. So today we're talking about communication. Communication is the key to any successful relationship or to the success of any relationship that you have, be it personal, with a professor, with your parents, with a spouse. Life is about communication. As you see here, the most important aspect of any transition is communication. And Mrs. Giles is going to talk to you all today about how you should be communicating with your clients and adjusting these new expectations so that you can maintain satisfaction with your clients in what will become the new normal. So with that said, Mrs. Giles, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and turn this over to you.
Awesome.
Oh,
Hello, everyone. It's so great to see you all again. I am actually even more excited about seeing some of the repeat people for a few reasons. One, it speaks to your commitment to your business and to your growth. And let me tell you that I know is that consistency is the most important factor in the formula to success for your business. I see people do things, they stop, they go, they start, they stop, and they're frustrated because they can't quite get a grasp. In that formula, what I tell people all the time is that success has a formula. And when you see people who are consistently successful, don't ask yourself how, ask them what's the formula. Don't say, tell me what you did, because what they did can change based on certain things. Ask them what's your formula, because when you have the right formula, you can answer any question. My daughter is extremely good in math, like well beyond what I am now capable to help her with. She's in like physics and trigonometry, and the scary thing is she's only a sophomore in high school. And one day she came to ask me how to help her with a problem, and I gave her this strange look like, I'm sorry, have you and I met? Like, what about our interactions makes you think I can help you? But I did. What I asked her was, what's the formula for the problem you're trying to solve? Because what I know in trigonometry, because I took trigonometry 50 million years ago, back when Moses and them took it. But what I know about trigonometry is that you have sets of formulas. And if you know which formula to apply, it will give you the right answer. And I said, look at the formula and see where you're doing something wrong. She went back and she did it. She was like, oh my gosh, mom, you're a genius. You got it right. That you got it right. She thought I got it right. I didn't get it right. I just made sure she followed the formula. And the formula is consistency plus action equals success. And you consistently showing up is your key, one important piece in that formula. So I appreciate you. You all know who you are. I see you, Jay and Fung and Nicole and all of you all. So keep doing it, keep reaching out. And so I want to jump into today's session. I am going to share my screen with you all so that you can see what I have going on. Is it allowing me to share? There we go. It's saying it's thinking about it. There we go. All right. It was like I almost decided not to cooperate, but then it changed its mind. Are you all able to see my screen? Can you see my screen, Erica?
not yet.
Okay, let's see if it's going to. It's not the share option. It's not lighting up for me.
Mhm.
Thank you for typing, Jay. I just wanted to make sure you could see. Okay, let's see.
Okay, one second. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yep. All right, give it.
Okay, it says you are now a presenter. There we go. All right, now it's decided to help me out. There we go. Yay. Technology is our friend today. Oh, y'all, it's the little things that make me happy. I promise you, it's the little things. Because sometimes we get caught up in the big ones and they just don't decide. And it's funny because we're going to talk about this today too, about technology and whether it's your friend or not, which is going to be tons of fun. So let's get it back up there. So we've already been talking about this panic or pivot. The choice is yours. And as Erica said, right now we're in a situation where, especially if you're in Georgia or you plan to stay in Georgia, I know some of you have finished and you may have graduated, you may be going different places, but Georgia is already starting to reopen. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, we're reopening a band abort mission. I can go back to life before. We're going to be face to face. Thank you, Deetra. That was a lot of fun. You were cute, but I'm out of here. Got it. Don't do that for a few reasons. Number one, it's already predicted that there will be a second, potentially a third round of this thing based on how we're responding. So, based on how we're responding to the virus and opening up at this point, there's already predictions that there may be a second and or third round of this thing that could be more impactful than the first round. Imagine that. Now, that will happen likely without us closing things down, right? Exactly. Translation, stay home, right? That may happen without us closing down again, because the president has been very clear that no matter what happens, he's not closing this country down. And we know in Georgia we have a governor that follows suit with what our president says. So if the president says he's not shutting the country down again, it's very likely that Georgia will not shut down again. What does that mean for you and your clients? And so the idea of abandoning this whole concept of taking your business online, you might want to pump your brakes. This is still going to be a very relevant thing. And here's what I tell people. If you watched any of my TED Talks, you know I'm very comfortable talking about race, religion, and politics. This is what I do. I love it. So this is not a political conversation. This is a factual conversation. It is factual that there might be a second or third round. It is factual that we are not probably not going to close down again. It is factual that you're going to be dealing with clients who are concerned about their safety and will likely not go out into open spaces frequently. I'm dealing with a client now who was gung ho, restaurant owner, gung ho about reopening, gung ho about yes, 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 we're going to reopen. And they open their doors and they're so disappointed. Why? Because they realize there are not enough people coming to the restaurant to pay their rent, to pay the people they have working. So the question is, do you have the critical mass that's going to support your business in this now reopen environment? And so for you, I say, if you're already on the path to taking your business virtual, stay on that path. It is not harmful to create options up front. So last week, what did we talk about? We talked about your standard operating procedures. Did you write your SOPs? Put it in the chat for me. If you didn't, now's a good time to lie to me, because we talked about consistent and you were supposed to be doing your homework. So type in the chat, did you write your SOPs? And did you research what platforms are best for your audience? Understand, we started this thing and I'm giving you homework every time. Yay, Fung, I'm so happy you did. So, yeah, Jay, I knew you would come through for me. Jay, I had all the faith that you were going to come through. Did you look for the platforms that's best for your audience? Because remember, these questions, these things that I'm having you doing, go back to the very first thing we talked about, which is that client avatar. Nicole, I know you did yours. I'm not even worried. Goes back to that client avatar, because being online is all about making sure you know who you're talking to, which informs you about where they're going. If you go where they are, you have a better chance of getting your product in front of them, your product or service, which means you have a better chance of getting a customer. And while we're on this, I want you to think about, you want clients, not customers. That's what's going to build your platform. Now, what's the difference here, Dietrich? You just threw us a loop. What do you mean you want clients, not customers? Customer, I am a McDonald's customer. I am a Whole Foods client. What do I mean by that? Every now and again, when I feel bad, I feel like, you know what, this is a great time to not really care about my diet, not really give a rat's patootie about what happens. I know you all may not know this, but I do Spartan races. So I'm that crazy person that goes out there. You're thinking, who signs up for these stupid things? How does this company stay in business? How do they keep getting people to sign up to go and run through the mud for miles and miles and miles? I'm that crazy person. So right before a Spartan race, or sometimes even right after, I'll think, you know what? I just ran 13 miles, 45 obstacles, drug myself through the mud, climbed over 7-foot walls, jumped over barbed wire, jumped over a fire pit. I deserve a really unhealthy meal. I go to McDonald's. So I'm a customer. They can't rely on me. I'm not a part of their bottom line because I'm not dependable. But Whole Foods and the farmers market, I'm a client. I go there at least once a week. They can bank on me. They can put me as a part of their projection sheet because I am going to come in that frequently. We're trying to build clients, not customers, and that's your avatar. So back to our regularly scheduled. So, what have we been doing in the series? We've already hit online 101. So, we talked about the very basics before you even think about taking your business online. Here are the things you should be thinking about. Then we talked about once you have that concept, how do you perform excellently? Because remember, if you are online and you're delivering poorly, you have to change your pricing model. And we haven't budgeted to change our pricing model. I'm not giving you a discount. So I have to show up just as well, maybe even better online than I did face to face. And so, how do I do that for my clients? How do I show up well such that they feel like I should be paying what you're asking me to pay? And that was last week. And this week, we're talking about online communication. Now, I'm going to do the same thing or try to do the same thing that I did last week. I'm going to try to leave 30 minutes at the end where you can ask questions. I haven't been successful the last two times. Probably won't be successful this time, but nothing beats a good old college try. So here we go. But I want to make sure I'm sharing the information that you really need. So I hope you're getting it. So this week, what we're talking about is this online communication. Who are you communicating with is so important to understanding how to effectively communicate. And so when we talk about online communication, the first thing we need to talk about is the people that are helping you. That's your contractors, your assistant, your employees, all of those people. Then we're talking about your customers. Who are the people that you're serving? Where are they? What are they? How do you talk to them? Erica, let me know if you can hear me because it looks like I froze up.
We hear you. We hear you
Okay,
just fine. Yeah, we lost your video, but we hear you great.
perfect. I'll keep going. I'll act like this that didn't happen. And
Okay.
then we talk about our customers. Who are we serving and how do we communicate most effectively with them? Then we talk about the importance of scheduling and adjustments. And most importantly, in this schedule adjustments is family communication. And then lastly, I want us to talk about our homework. So, because each week we have homework that's assigned that's important for us to make sure that we're getting to and through, because that's how we're going to make this thing work is by doing that homework and making sure that we know exactly what's expected of us at each turn. So let's first of all kick off with our contractors, our assistants. So when we're talking about these people, it's important for us to note how are they serving us? How are they helping us? What are they helping us to do? These are the people that we're relying on to make sure that we get the work accomplished. Now, I don't want you to think about this as necessarily how you're spending money because that's the first thing that comes to our mind. This is where I'm spending money. Detroit, I don't have enough money to hire an assistant. What are you talking about? You absolutely do have enough money to hire an assistant, quote unquote, hire an assistant. You can't see my video, but I did quotation marks, hire an assistant. But when I'm talking about, think about offering opportunities. So you can have opportunities for interns. Remember when you were an intern, remember that important thing that you did in college around being an intern and internships and things like that? I want you to think about stuff like that, hiring interns to help you out, hiring contractors to do certain things like we talked about earlier. Fung asked a question about websites and things like that. She asked about CRMs, and I think Jay might have asked about websites. Those are people that you're hiring to help you, but how do you communicate them to with them to be effective online? So you think about things like Slack is a great tool for us to make sure that people are getting work done. Asana is another great tool for us to make sure that we have everybody on this platform, and I can set up sections so I know what you're doing, you know what I'm doing, you can tell me when something has been completed, and I can see when I need to pick up things like that. So it's very important that you have tools like that in place so you know exactly what you should be doing, who you should be communicating with, why, where, and how. Right?
Sure, let me pause you for 1 second. We
Okay.
still hear you, but it sounds like the computer has been completely kicked off.
Okay.
So I'm going to put your slides up. While I'm downloading your slides, would you like to try to reconnect? And
Let's
if,
try that.
and if I get the slides up before you reconnect, then I'll just drive for you.
Okay. Let's see what we can do.
Absolutely.
I'm
Once
gonna reconnect here and
I'm downloading and opening them now.
off of here. Let's see. Let's see if it will wait till you're in a really good flow to be like, no,
Of
mm-mm,
course.
we're not gonna do that.
And I don't see you reconnecting yet. I have the slides up, so it's up to you if you want. But can you see the screen?
I am getting to it now.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, it looks like you're back in. The phone is in, but I don't see the computer.
let's see. Let's see.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right, we're in.
Let's see.
So you
Let's.
got to slap. So we were on the today slide. Well, actually, we're on the contractor, assistant, and employee slide.
All right. One moment. Let's
Perfect.
get my screen share happening. Share.
And I'll just signal you.
Yeah.
There we go. 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 There we go. Okay, go to the next one.
Okay.
There we go. Yep. And one more. Perfect.
Okay.
So we talked about the assistant. So with the schedule, we'll talk about a little bit more later. So I'll hit that one a little bit later. But let's talk about the SOPs that you were working on. The reason those SOPs are important is because when you're going into your system for communication, which could be Asana, Slack, Microsoft Teams. There's so many things out there. I try to use something that's easily accessible from everywhere, i.e., your phone, a tablet, computer. And so my team and I use Slack and Asana. That's helpful for us. What those SOPs do is you can plug those SOPs right into your software system, which allows you to know. And once you plug it in, you could assign people to those things. So it's not I don't ever have to wake up and ask someone or a contractor. For example, I'm working on building my website for one of my ventures right now called The Good Life, Getting Up Daily. And we are working every Wednesday. I do a podcast, a little IG, Instagram, TV session, 8 a.m. called Good Morning with Deetra Giles. Well, on my team, I have an SOP for how that should be done. So in there, I can drop that SOP in Slack and Asana, and I assign people to it. So I know that my marketing person should get me the graphics. My assistant should get me the information or the images that I need for my graphics person, and I have to drop. I know when to drop in my video. I know when the person that actually does the marketing piece puts together the whole video from the images to my video to the editing, and it's ready to go. And then I know when my assistant is supposed to upload it into um, the scheduler for it to upload to IGTV. All of that is done. It's just dropped into the communication system, and then I put names on it, and everyone knows what they're supposed to do. So that's how it works. Even though those people, and even some of the people may be interns. One of the people that I have working with me for my graphics is an intern. They came on to learn information, and really, that's what internship is. People often think interns are just there to be their grunt workers to go get coffee. No, internships, there is a legal requirement from the Department of Labor around the work that an intern should be doing, and that work should be to actually come and learn something. So if you're not paying them, most internships, well, not most, a lot of internships are unpaid financially, but your payment is in education. And so if you're not learning, then you're really not interning. So I'm able to put my intern in and they know what they should be doing. The same thing with contractors have the outcomes and knowing what those job descriptions are for those people. So those things are very, very important for you to make sure you know and have, because that's how the work is getting done. If you're not communicating effectively with those people, then there is absolutely no one to help you with that work. Now, let's talk about your customer. When we think about the customer, there are a few things you need to be concerned about when it comes to the customer and your when you're thinking about online communication. Three things: your brand, consistent contact, and platforms. So first, let's talk about your brand. One of the things you notice is when I come on here, people can say, Deetra, you're a little bit extra. Like, do you really need to have on your makeup, a different pair of glasses, colorful stuff? Like, it's online, you're home, chill, put on a t-shirt, put on a sweatshirt, you know, just get on what you need makeup for. We're online. Listen, I have a brand. If you follow me, if you go on IG, if you go on Facebook, if you go on Twitter, if you go on LinkedIn, my brand is being well put together because I know that the first thing people see is me. When I walk into a room, they don't see that I have 3 college degrees. When I walk into a room, they don't see that I have customers like Goldman Sachs, 10,000 Small Business, and Kaiser Permanente, and the NSA and the EPA. They don't see that when I walk into a room. What they see is this image. And does my image portray what I want them to perceive? You have a brand, and your customers see that brand before you open your mouth, sometimes before they get to see your website. And so when you're communicating, what brand are you communicating? When I go to your website, I should be, without reading a word, the visual should immediately communicate who you are, what you are, and how I'm going to experience you. When I go to your Instagram, when I go to your social media, when I go to your TikTok, without having to see all 5 or 50 million of your TikTok videos, I should be able to watch one and get an instant idea of who you are, how you are, and what I'm going to experience from you as a customer. Online, you have to do an even more intentional job of communicating your brand. And that means making sure your colors are consistent, because online red is not just red, it's color number 0.502C35, whatever, whatever. Because again, when I see that red, you think it's red and it doesn't matter. There's a difference. And when I see that red, I know it's you. And so that's one of the things you want to make sure you communicate with customers. Now, aside from communicating your brand, you want to make sure you're consistent in your contact. Inform, but don't harass. And we've seen those two. We've seen those two done well, and we've seen them done poorly. We've seen the people that send you information, and it's relative information. They send you information maybe once a week or so, maybe twice a week, but when they send you something, it's something that you care about. I'm an HR and I'm a member of SHRM, Society of Human Resources Managers. They send me something about once a week, but it's typically a legal update. Hey, what's new with coronavirus and how we deal with that in the workforce? Or did you hear about this law that just got passed? Or did you hear about this company that got sued for violating this law? Make sure you're not doing this. It keeps me informed. So when they finally do send that update of, hey, it's time to pay your dues again, I don't ignore it because they've been selling me relevant information. However, on the other hand, and we've talked about this before, those organizations whereby Every other day, let's change that. Every other hour, I get an email from you talking about, hey, one new thing. Hey, did you hear about this revelation? Hey, I bet you didn't know. I bet I did. I bet you I did. And how many revelations do you get a week? Because I get about a good revelation a month, and that takes me 2 months to work out. So don't harass, because what happens is if you send things too often, if you communicate too often, you become background noise that no one pays attention to. They kind of think they want to be bothered with you, but they don't quite want to delete you. So they delete your messages, but don't unsubscribe to your list. So when you go and check your CRM, which is what Fong was asking about earlier, you can go into your customer relations management system, and you can see who actually opens your email. You can see who read, like it'll say how long was it open before they closed it or deleted it. And you'll begin to see, you can tell when you're harassing people because they don't open your emails. Your open rate, if your open rate is below 15, I would say 15, 20%, you're probably harassing people, right? And then the last one is your platform. Your platforms matter so much. Where you engage people is important. And so, Erica, follow me with this one. Click the next one slide for me. And so let's talk about technology really quickly. So let's talk about the truth about technology. Stop there. This is who you think technology is. You want technology to be your friend. It's out there fighting the good fight. There is vibranium in their heels, and everything works perfectly because guess what? People will tell you in a heartbeat. Technology only does what you tell it to do. If it messed up, it didn't mess up, you messed up. Technology is just a system, it's a tool, and it does what you tell it to do. This is who we want technology to be. We want technology to be perfect on our side because guess what? There are geniuses. Wakanda was full of geniuses. There are geniuses behind this stuff. But click the next slide. This is who technology actually is. That's the technology that you will deal with. That's the technology you will get. The technology that is out to get all five of the stones and destroy you. You will get this version of technology, the one that does not want to be your friend, the one that does not want to see you be great, the one that is going to come against you at all odds. What's funny today, like today, Eric and I decided, you know what? We're getting on at 12:30 this time. 12:30, we're getting on and we are going to make sure this thing works. 12:30 we got on, didn't work. Called the IT guy, just his simple voice, click, things worked. Then you got on and it was like, oh, they're on now. Kicked each other off. The fact that you all got on almost 45 minutes earlier, I don't care about that crap. I have the stones. I can destroy you. And we're off. And now we're back on the phone again. Here's the deal. Technology is not always going to be your friend. If you are going to take things online, you have to be the king or queen of plan A, B, C, and D. And you have to know your stuff well enough to roll with the punches. Here's the reality. I've been doing this long enough to know that technology is not always going to work. As a matter of fact, Murphy's Law is very real. What can go wrong will go wrong, and it's not always going to get fixed. But I know this stuff well enough that if the slides didn't work, you couldn't see my face, I know how to use my voice inflection to keep you all engaged. It might not be ideal, but I know how to do this in a way that no matter what, you will walk away having gotten the information that you feel like this was worth my time. You know what? I would have loved if the slides worked. You know what? I would have loved if technology worked better, but I got what I came for. You have to have a plan using technology such that no matter what your customer experiences, they leave feeling like they got what they came for. And your platforms matter. So, example of the platform we're using WebEx. So, WebEx has a platform that allows me to be on the computer, but it also allows me to be on my phone. So, should the computer not work in my favor, guess what? Click, boom, 2 seconds, I'm up on my phone. Should my phone go down? Click, boom, I can get on my tablet. You want to make sure that whatever platform you're using, it allows you to let technology be your friend. Now, let's talk about that same idea when we're talking about social media. If you're on social media and your client avatar happens to be on Facebook, well, Facebook has been getting very sensitive these days about putting people in Facebook jail. Right? People are going to Facebook jail left and right, and because of the coronavirus, they're down on the number of people that are reviewing these Facebook jail cases. So literally, by the time they review your case and determine whether you should or should be or not in jail, your jail sentence could be over. But if you're using Facebook heavily for Facebook ads, and that's where the majority of your stuff is happening, and that's the only place that you're targeting, you could find yourself in some issues if you say the wrong thing, tick somebody off, and Facebook says, let me investigate this while you're in jail. That could be 72 hours a week of revenue or advertising that you miss simply because someone didn't like what you said. You have to have multiple platforms, so find out where are all of the places that your avatar may be and select the platforms accordingly. So yes, you're on Facebook. Where is your avatar potentially on IG, on LinkedIn, on these different places? So if one of these places shuts me down, I still can continue to generate revenue in another place, right? So think about the platforms. Now, last one we're talking about is scheduling. Y'all, scheduling is so freaking important. People miss the gravity of having a good schedule and having everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody on that schedule. Everyone in your household needs to be on a schedule. If you're going to have an effective, if you're going to have an effectively run online business, virtual platform, you have to have everyone on a schedule. Next slide for me. So let me tell you why. You may, and everyone and everything, you may have dogs, cats, kids, significant others, and the mental perception of an online platform or a virtual business is that you got time. You don't have to go into the office. Because they see you, they automatically assume that you're not doing anything. That could not be further from the truth. So you need to be on the schedule. They need to be on the schedule, and you need to hold them accountable for sticking to that schedule. Next slide for me, Erica. This, what you're seeing right here, is one example of one of my Monday schedules. So I have a Facebook group called Time On Not Off. I got to go back in there and talk to those people. I haven't talked to them in a while. But this is a schedule I share with them. This is an example of one of my Monday morning schedules. This is just for me. Now, do you see how detailed this schedule is? Because I'm making sure that I allot time in my day for these things to get done. Now, what's important about this schedule is not just that it exists, but that it's shared. My assistant gets a copy, my children get a copy, my husband gets a copy. Everyone that's involved in my day to day life gets a copy of this schedule. Why? Because everyone needs to know what's going on. My kids now, they are currently sliding notes underneath the door asking me for what they can have. Why? Because they know mommy is at work and you cannot disturb her. They know today's schedule and they know it's not a good time to come in and talk to me and ask me questions. They can slide them at the door. If I have time, I'll get them. If I don't, I ignore them. Right now, no, they can't have chips. I can see that big old writing from here. It's being ignored, right? The schedule is so important. When you walk your dog, when you eat lunch,
when you cook. And I don't want you to be an automaton and you're so tied to this schedule that you don't get a chance to even speak or do anything outside of it. But I want you to understand the importance of communicating that schedule to everyone and making sure that everyone is also on the schedule with you. Because what does not get scheduled does not get done. And if you don't have a schedule, your day is up for grabs to anyone. So when you're, especially when you're virtual, because when you're face to face, when you're in the office, it's so easy to just say, I'm in the office, don't call me, I'm closing my door. But when you're virtual, it's also very easy for you and everyone else to not respect that schedule. You have to be the first to respect it because if you don't respect it, no one will. Yes, thank you, Nicole, for pointing that out. Notice how in the schedule I added breaks. Y'all, I told you all, I teach at Mercy University. I'm an adult educator. And we like to think that kids are the ones with short attention spans. Y'all, it's y'all. It's us. It's the adults. We have short attention spans. And right, I see you raising your hand, Erica. I mean, we are the original squirrel, right? That's why you often don't get anything done. Think about the last time you went to go clean your kitchen. You started out, you're like, I'm going to clean the refrigerator. You started cleaning the refrigerator, you took some old pots out, put them in the sink, and realized, oh my gosh, there's a lot of dishes. Then you started cleaning the dishes. Then you put the dishes in the dishwasher and realized, wait a minute, where are all the cups? Then you went looking for the cups and realized that your cabinets where the cups were was so unorganized that it didn't have room. So you started reorganizing the cabinets. Now it's 6 o'clock at night and you're wondering, why isn't the refrigerator clean? It was because you did not have a schedule and you did not give yourself breaks. Breaks allow us to focus. We often think when we take a break, we're not focusing. It allows you to say, oh, break, give my mind a break, and now I can go back to doing that thing. So I give myself frequent breaks. And on my breaks, I do dumb stuff like check social media and see what somebody said or listen to a song. And I'm a classically trained dancer since 3 years old. I used to choreograph in the Miss America circuit, so I'm a dancer. I love to dance. And I used to teach at dance school and all other stuff. I would take a dance break in a minute. I'm talking about full on Debbie Allen fame, America's Got Talent dance break in the middle of my living room, like I have lost my raggedy mind. For real, for real. And then go sit down like I just did something normal because you need a break. So making sure that you're scheduled, everybody knows the schedule, and it's communicated to everybody that's involved. And this last one is one that I did not include in the thing, but this is going to be so instrumental. Slide to your success. Reflect, learn, and adjust. The one thing you learn as an entrepreneur is that you are always learning. When you think you are finished learning, you are done for. You can hang it up, you can call it a day, you can go ahead and file your bankruptcy papers because the minute you think you're finished learning, you are done. This, one of the things they say, I love working with my military people because they have a saying, a plan never survives first contact. And that just simply means that you can have a plan, but that plan is going to have to be adjusted at some point. And so you always want to step back, reflect, do a quote unquote what they call an after action review. So reflect on it. What did we learn? What went well? What could we do differently? And based on what that after action review is, you adjust. So as you're implementing this plan, you want to make sure that you're reflecting on it. You learn from your successes, learn from your mistakes, and adjust. That is always going to be the entrepreneurial process. It is never going to be perfect, and you don't want it to be perfect. You want to always be learning, always be moving, always be innovating, always be adjusting. Now, oh, I'm 1 minute behind. Look at me, I'm getting awesome. Next slide. We're almost to the last one. It's like, oh, you finally got your rhythm? Okay. Anyway, so I definitely want us to talk about this homework. So you've been doing your homework. Next slide. If you've been doing your homework, let me show you how your plan is coming together. This is what you should have worked on so far. You should be putting together a book that is looking like a plan to take your business to a virtual platform. The first homework you had was creating your client avatar. Who are they? What do they look like? Where do they shop? Where are they online? Where are they perusing? How do they like to receive information? Then identifying from that information, where's their preferred social media platform? How do you get to them? How do you get them from social media to your email list to buying your service and or product? And then finding out, we talked about, well, how do you target them? Finding out who's targeting that avatar. Who are the people that are targeting the same people that you're targeting? I talked about my thing, a book and a beat. I went to go look at Sephora. My ideal person for that thing, that particular platform is Sephora makeup line. And so I went to see who is Sephora targeting, and I want to use who they're using. If you do certain ads like Instagram ads or Facebook ads, they will actually allow you in your setup of your client group and who you want to target, you can literally say, I could literally type in Sephora demographic, and it would automatically put in the Sephora demographic. And when I press that Facebook ad without having to find out all of these details, it would automatically market to Sephora demographic for me. So a lot of the work is done for you if you do the upfront work. So find out who those online businesses are that serve your audience. And it doesn't even have to be the same industry. It could be, for example, I was looking at so for a book and a beat also, and I know my age demographic. So I put in that age demographic and who serves that demographic. It's not the same client, but they serve my demographic that I want. So I put that demographic in as well. And again, market to those people. Now, as you're doing this, you can market to the people. And now that you're finding ways to get in front of those people, get in front of them and make them into clients, the next question is now, um, how do we get them from a contact to a contract? And that's where those SOPs come in. So I had you document your current SOPs and then now take those current face-to-face SOPs and convert them to a virtual counterpart SOP. How does this SOP look when we used to go to lunch? We can't go to lunch with this client anymore, potential client anymore. What does that look like as a virtual counterpart as a part of our SOP? And then identify what are those current legal restraints and adjustments for a virtual environment, and then explore two platforms for delivery. So that was your homework today. So here's your last homework assignment before next week. So as we're going to the next slide, let me tell you what's going to happen next week. Next week, I'm going to give a few of you an opportunity to pull your plan together, get it to me. And what we're going to do is go over your plan live with everybody in the course. The reason I want to do this is because I want to give you a chance to see what the plan should look like, what adjustments you can make in real time, what a coaching session around this type of thing looks like. So you, at least 3 or 4 of you, will get a chance to get me to coach you on your plan live on the platform. I know it's exciting. Here's the deal. Erica does not know this, but I'm not picking. She's picking. So y'all can get mad with her. Y'all not gonna get mad with me. So I'm going to, but that means you have to have your plan done by Monday. So I'll get a chance to look at it and have some questions ready for you by Wednesday. So if you know you'll have your plan done by Monday, then talk to Erica about being one of the 3 to 4 people that get selected to have yours done. And I say 3 to 4 because I don't know how long each will take. So as she picks, first come, first serve. Whoever came first that she selected, that's who will go first. And if we get to 4, it will be 4. If we get to 3, it'll be 3. But what I want you to do is your homework this week is to finalize your transition plan and be ready to do your 5 to 7 minute presentation on your plan so that we can kind of go through it. If we have time for more, we'll come off of mute and let a few of you go if we have time for more. And I want you also too, what is not on here for your homework, is to formulate all the questions you have. If you're new, go back and listen to all of the other 3 sessions, all of the sessions, the 2 prior to this, so you can formulate your questions based on what you might have missed. But have your final questions ready because this is the end of a 4-week series. So come ready for all of that. And as you know, you can always contact me. Here's my social media handles on this last slide so that you can contact me if you would like to. You can contact me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you also have my email, which Erica, I'm sure, has shared with you all. So that is all of the information that I have. So now I'm happy to open it up for questions. We're getting better and better, y'all. Only 7 minutes off. So I'm going to open it up for questions, and you all are welcome to ask me any questions that you might have about the information we shared today or any of the information we've shared over the last week, 2 weeks, whatever. The floor is open for you to ask any questions.
Bear with me, guys. It took a second. I was trying to pull up the links for part 1 and 2 without disrupting the PowerPoint, but now that has hid everyone. So let me pull my participant list back up so I can see all of you guys and see who has questions. Raise your hands and I can unmute you if you have a question. I think we have one question in the chat. This is Al Ostro is one of our longtime launch members. This is his first presentation, and he had schedule conflicts on the previous one. Uh,
Oh no. Hey, Al.
he suppose that the SOP will lead to a script. I would imagine so, right, Deetra, that an SOP should absolutely lead to a script?
Yes. So the SOP, so the answer to your question is yes and no, Al. Will it lead to a script for you to talk to your clients? Not necessarily, but it's a script for you and your people to follow. So, for example, last week I talked about my contact to contract script. How do I get someone from meeting them to being a client? That involves everyone on my team, including me. And if there's no one on my team, it's just me. So that's my script that I follow. Those It tells me every step of the way what to do. Now the script that I have with them is a part of my SOP. So for example, my assistant knows when we get a business card, she has a script for an email to send out with that initial contact to know how we can serve this person, so we know what funnel to put them in. Are they a coaching funnel? Are they a training funnel? Are they a org development funnel? Are they and a person a B2B, as in business to business, is me working with Google, or is it B2C, me working with a particular Google executive, right? So that lets her know what funnel to put them in. So there's an initial script that's a part of my SOP. So the SOP is a script for you and your team to follow, but the scripts that you actually have with the client will be a part of the SOP, if that makes sense.
Let's see. I don't see any. Up. Jay's got
I
one.
just saw Jay said something. Can you advise? I didn't see the whole thing though.
Can you advise a place that I can get a logo and possibly a range to pay that is reasonable?
Yes. So we've talked about this one before. Can someone type in the chat for me Fiverr? Fiverr, I think it is. Fiverr.com is wonderful. Now, so I do things on Fiverr, and then I have individuals that I work with directly that are arranged. But Fiverr is a great start because Fiverr is a place where you can get things from $5 to $5,000. And I've gotten logos that I absolutely love on Fiverr for only 25 bucks. But I've also gotten logos that I love. For example, my Good Life logo, the Good Life we talked about, GUD, Getting Up Daily. I paid for that on Fiverr. It cost me, I think, 15 bucks. My A Book and a Beat logo, I paid a local artist called Sasha Revels from SMB Studios, and I paid her a couple hundred for it. And I have no regrets about spending money on either. I have no regrets about how much money I spent for the $15 one or for the couple $100 one, because with Sasha, I needed someone that I could talk with, communicate, and have changes on the fly real time. And so what you're paying for is convenience and what works best for you. Fiverr, you can't communicate with the person verbally. You can only have messages going back and forth, and that can get kind of cumbersome, especially when you're working on something like a logo that's so particular. So my Good Life logo, I knew I have this general idea, but I'm not obsessive about how this really comes out. So if someone doesn't get it right to start, I'm okay. With a book and a beat, I was very particular because my client for that particular endeavor is a very discerning client. They're either high, they have the potential to be, there are either high end clients, so they have the potential to be high end. They have options. They could afford a makeup artist if they really needed to. They're kind of thrifty, but they're not broke, right? So they're still very discerning. So I was very particular about what that would look like. And so I needed to be able to verbalize it with someone. So it really depends on what your wiggle room is. But Fiverr is a great place to start. And typically on Fiverr, I'll hire 2 or 3 people at once because you're paying them 5 to 25, maybe $100, which is significantly less than one logo would actually cost you. But great question, Jay. You're welcome. And I'm trying, I know everyone's like, why can't she give a one-word answer? I want to be as thorough as possible because I recognize that some of you have these questions, and the questions aren't always as easy as yes or no. Sometimes it's a little bit more detailed than yes or no, and I want to be very thorough in my answer to you all. So don't think like, why can't she just say yes or no? So, any other questions?
No
I'm
other
here.
questions. Now, keep in mind, again, we're going to select three, possibly four people. Are there any questions about expectations, what you guys should expect, what you should prepare? Now's your time. Don't blow me
Now
up
is your
Tuesday night.
time.
No, I'm not going to be answering phone calls till 10 o'clock at night on Tuesday. Miss Erica, what do I need to prepare? What do I need to put together? No, ma'am. No, sir. This is your time.
You know that's what's gonna happen.
No, I know that's what's not going to happen. That is not what's going to happen. Let me get
Like we've seen this before.
right. Been there, done that. I don't see any other hands raised.
So one thing before we shut it down and give you all time to make sure that you're done, here's what I also want you to know. In this process, be okay with it not being perfect the first time. Perfection is the enemy of done. Perfection is the enemy of millions. Every millionaire, billionaire out there will tell you about how many times they failed, especially initially. What I consider failures are my stepping stones. Success is up here, and I have to build or create a ladder to get there. And every failure is a rung on my ladder. If you do not fail, you are not building your ladder. The longer you wait for it to be perfect, a perfect ladder gets you here. A failure ladder will get you here. So as the longer you wait for it to be perfect, the longer it takes for you to get to where you're going. While the person is who is out there failing their way to success is reaching it, and you're wondering, how come they're passing me? Because my stuff is flawless. Because they did something, refined it, and kept moving. They already had someone waiting for the better version. They already had like there are things that we start and we have to not if I waited until I was a perfect speaker, I wouldn't have ever done a TEDx talk. I started speaking when I was okay. I was pretty good. I was all right. Now I'm comfortable saying that I'm really good. I'm a great speaker. But I wasn't always. I wasn't always a dynamic speaker. I wasn't always gregarious. I wasn't even always able to translate well from a live platform to a virtual platform. I wasn't always able to have the same energy without somebody being in the room with me. I wasn't always able to read the audience and say, yes, they're getting this, even though I can't hear them clapping or doing whatever. That was a process. But guess what? I went virtual and started speaking online before I was really good at it. And had people saying, well, she shared good information. She might have been a little dull, but the information was good. Let's go back. And I got better. So don't stop. Don't wait until it's perfect because the first time it will not be perfect. But perfection is the enemy of done.
One tip for Trying to overcome that. I can imagine that many of the folks online are probably a little nervous
Hmm.
because those that have shown up for the past 3 weeks, obviously you are in the running to be the ones that I select. So they're probably a little nervous. Maybe what are some of the tips? How did you overcome that fear? What tools did you use to go ahead and schedule that first virtual presentation? We've been forced to do it now, so we all have to do it. But if you could talk back to your 18, 19, 20-year-old self, do you have a tip or two for them leading into next week, how to overcome that fear? Because not showing up is not the option. That's not that.
No.
Those of you thinking that, oh, I'm just not going to show up next week. No, that's not what we're going to do. That's not how this works. So, any, go ahead.
A few things. Number one, talk to yourself. I, to this day, y'all, I have been a speaker for over 20 years. I still get in front of a mirror and do all of my sessions full out like I'm talking to an audience. My husband, who I've been married to for 19 years now, used to think I was crazy a while ago. Now he's like, oh, yeah, she's just over here talking to herself. And I mean, like full out, like in front of the mirror, like, you need to understand that this happens and that happens. And he's like, really? The whole thing? For real? That's what we're doing? Yes, this is what we're doing. So much so until it becomes comfortable. I become comfortable with the words. So when nervousness kicks in, I can rely on muscle memory. Like if you've ever done anything like martial arts or anything like that, they tell you it takes 1,000 times to master something because mastery is muscle memory. Mastery means I can do this without even thinking about it. My husband's a black belt, and I remember a few years ago, he fell off of a ladder outside, up high, and in my mind, he should have died because he had shears in his hand. The ladder gave way, and he's falling off this up high, 6 foot ladder with shears in his hand. Because of his muscle memory, in the few seconds between life and death, he had muscle memory enough that in martial arts they teach you how to fall. Those of you on who know martial arts, they teach you how to fall so that you don't break your neck or injure your head. So he immediately thought, martial arts, toss the shears, tuck your chin to your chest, put your hands down behind you flat, and let your hands hit the ground first. And the only reason that he broke his ankle was because the ground was unlevel. And when he hit the ground, his ankle slipped. Otherwise, he'd have been fine because of muscle memory. He didn't have time to think about, okay, tuck your head, toss the shears, chin to chest, arms flat behind you, hit the ground hard first with your hands. Muscle memory. And so that's why you do talk to yourself over and over and over and over in the mirror so that what you're talking about becomes muscle memory. The second thing is find a safe space first. So my first virtual presentation was amongst people who knew me, knew my work, liked me, and were rooting for me. So even though I wasn't that great, they were in my corner. And so they were like, yes, she's going to get better, but I've seen her and she's amazing and she knows her stuff. I don't care that she wasn't entertaining. You all didn't feel entertained. She knows her stuff. So the third part of that is making sure you know your stuff. Become comfortable with that because even when you're not great, you will always have to fall back on your brand. And though I try to be entertaining and try to be engaging, that my brand is not entertaining and engaging. My brand is solidly knowing what I do and presenting that in an engaging way, but it's education first. I know my stuff first and foremost. And so, one, talk to yourself, make it muscle memory, make what you're saying muscle memory. Two, find a safe space to do it first. And then three, make sure that you solidly know what you're talking about and let that be your brand.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, well, those of you who are interested, we don't have anything scheduled for the rest of the week. Give me 1 second, Fung. I'll absolutely come back to your question. We don't have anything scheduled for the week. However, if there are enough of you interested, we can schedule a pitch practice session just for you to practice. I'm not going. Perfection is the enemy of done. So we are not striving for perfection, but if you want to practice, we can schedule something for Friday. I just need, to know that there are enough people interested. So shoot me an email. Let me know if you're interested. We can get that scheduled. Let's see, Fung, how how do you want the presentation format? Any requirements?
So it is up to you. Think about this as if you were getting an opportunity to be in front of the ideal person to see your plan, how would you want to present it to them? Would you want that to be in a PowerPoint? Would you want it to be in a Word document? How would you want it to be? But also think about your platform. Create it in a way that if what you plan doesn't work, you still have a backup plan, because this is a demonstration of how you do things. So have a backup plan. So have one plan, but also have another. So it's really up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because this is your thing.
All right. It looks like we have exhausted all the questions. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's
Thank
incredible
you.
how time flies when you're having fun. I cannot believe we have completed 3 sessions. John, yes, the links I sent them earlier. I will actually, if you indulge me 1 second, I can pull them back up so you guys, I'll send them in the email. Everyone who received the new email with the corrected link, I will go ahead and send that to everyone again as soon as we are done with the session. And we will, so that will, they're both on YouTube right now. And we appreciate you. Thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you so much for all of your time, your wisdom, your knowledge. And of course, because I'm a perfectionist and I'm so hard headed, I'm insisting on bringing this back up. Here we go, screen 2. Okay, so here are the 2 links one more time. And again, you all will get them via email. But thank you, teacher, so much. This has been incredible. And we are just so fortunate that you were able to spend these last 3 weeks with the members of Launch. And we have the videos up online where those who didn't get a chance to see 1 and 2, they'll be able to do that. And 3 will be up by this evening. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the presentations next
Thank
week.
you. I
And
know. I'm excited.
yes, 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 yes. So thank you so much for your time, everyone. Again, membership applications open next week. It'll be on the homepage of the Launch website. We will get those processed as quickly as possible. And Nicole, Prey, and I are working on a ton of new programming for you to kick off in the fall, including ongoing pitch practice sessions where they will be available every single week. But the thing is, you guys have to participate. We're not going to schedule these events for no one to show up. Launch is here for you. We want to know what you guys want, what you need to build the foundation for your business. The newsletter, if you receive my newsletter, in the newsletter is a survey. Tell us what you want. I'll actually even include the survey when I send these links out as soon as this event is over. Tell us what you want. I'm here for you. We practice what we preach. Listen to the customer. Members, you guys are my customers. Tell me what you are looking for out of Launch GSU, and I will do my best within reason to make it happen. I cannot open Launch right now. That's something, unfortunately, I just can't do. But any other ideas are fair game. Throw it at me. We'll see what happens. So, with that, I know Mrs. Giles has a full afternoon, so we're going to go ahead and let her go, and maybe Dee and Jara can get a bag of chips out of it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Thank you guys so much. Part 3 will be up this afternoon. Have a wonderful day. Be productive. Wash those hands. Stay home. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care, everyone. Bye.